3 years ago, Alicia Sacramone was the emotional leader of a United States women's gymnastics team that won the gold at the World Championships in Germany, the last time a team medal was contested. That team went on to settle for a silver in Beijing. But now, some new faces, and one familiar one, are back to defend their title. At the 2010 World Gymnastics Championships on Universal Sports. The city of Rotterdam, the Netherlands, the site this year of the World Championships where the USA women will get a chance to measure up to the best teams in the world with the London Olympic Games less than 2 years out. The competition taking place at the Ahoy Arena for this week, the center of the gymnastics universe, and today where the women's team final is taking place. Team USA with a couple of national champions and some World Championship rookies. How will they stack up? And then there's Team China. How will they measure up to the team that won gold just a couple of years ago at the Beijing Olympics? And then there are the Russian women, bringing with them a story of resurgence. Hi, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig, along with Olympic gold medalist Tim Daggett and Elfie Schlegel. And there's always an it girl in women's gymnastics. At least there appears to be. And right now for the United States, it's Rebecca Bras. You saw her compete on night one of qualifying. Tim, what did you think?
Oh, I thought she was great, and she came to this competition actually injured. She has a very, very tender shin that gives her a lot of problems, but she was such a tough customer, I'll tell you. And this World Championships is a lot more than it means a lot more to her than the typical kid. At last year's World, she had it in the bag. She was going to be the all-around winner, and she ended up settling for silver.
Unbelievably, she comes from the same gym as former Olympic medalists Carly Patterson and Nastia Liukin. Now, she didn't love what happened individually in Beijing, and that's Alicia Sacramone. Elfie, what have you seen from her?
Well, she's fantastic. She comes back to this sport fit, ready to go. They're calling her Mama Sac. She is the leader of this U.S. team. Check out how she performed in the first night of qualification. This vault was unbelievable. Not bad for the team leader and the veteran of this team.
Now, Team USA would have been good enough to have been in the #1 position after night one of qualifying, were it not for some key stumbles.
Yeah, exactly. You can't make mistakes, especially nowadays in gymnastics. One fall, that is a full point deduction. And this young lady, Maddie Larson, watch right here. Her knees go down, -1 point. And she was so great at the national championships. She just, she looks like that rookie you were talking about.
No, the scores don't carry over, though. It's a clean slate for everyone, including the Russians, Elfie.
Well, Alexander Alexandrov has returned to this Russian team, and you know what he brings? Passion and tradition back to Russia. I'm so excited to see a team that actually wants to win.
How about a quick thought about the Chinese? Are they as good as the team that won gold in Beijing?
They're not. There's no question they are not as good, and might sound a little ironic. They're actually a little bit old.
Meanwhile, the USA women will get started on the uneven bars, 4 apparatus, 3 gymnasts per, and all the scores count. The kid from Plano, Texas at the World Championships in the Netherlands. Meanwhile, on the vault, our first look at the Russians, and this is Yekaterina Kurbatova. She is 18. She was with this Russian team at the Europeans, but this is now a level higher than that.
Well, and they have done wonders with this athlete, because last year at the World Championships in 2009, I certainly could not believe that she would have gone on beyond those championships, and here she is.
A good vault, not a great vault, but certainly pretty darn good. The amazing thing about this Russian team, and a lot of people at home are going to be mad at me for saying this, but if they hit today and everybody else hits, Russia wins.
One thing we found out in this sport, coaches matter.
Yeah, there's no question. Yeah, Alexandrov was in the United States for about 15 years, and he got the call to come back, and Russia has been on just a path to success.
And the other 2 vaulters that are planning to go for Team Russia have more difficult vaults than this one. Very strong on this event.
How have they been scoring at these World Championships?
The scoring has been pretty typical. Floor exercise has been brutal. For whatever reason, the deductions are they're so critical on that. This young lady right here, she's something else, though, I'll tell you.
The 2010 World.
Rotterdam, not a huge city, a little over 600,000, second largest in Holland to Amsterdam, and it's where Aliyah Mustafina of Russia finds herself. The Russian making her World Championship debut, and apparently she's a lot to handle. The coach says she's very talented, but with a difficult character. However, you don't find much complacency among champions. What does he mean?
Well, she's very fiery, and she's also extremely emotional. When things aren't going her way, the tears come out, and she takes a lot of work to get back into the gym. But this is a huge vault for her.
Says that she doesn't like to make mistakes, and believe me, that is one hot vault.
Wow, this is huge because this vault actually starts 7/10 higher than 99% of the vaults that we're going to see in the competition today. And the thing Russia's got going for them, they don't just have this one from, they've got two of them. So they're going to be the leaders as long as they land on their feet after round one.
Huge advantage for this team. Look at how clean, how high, how precise. She can actually stick that vault. It's amazing.
And her score is what feels right now to be a pretty large one. 15.633 for Mustafina.
And you know, that's a higher score than the first day of competition.
And now from Pittsburgh, Indiana, a national champion, Bridget Sloan. She's one of the veterans on this team.
Not just a national champion, she's the reigning world all-around champion. She will not repeat. She only did a couple of events in the qualifying round, which places you forward into the all-around competition.
You know, and Bridget's not at her full strength. She's been feeling, well, she's had injuries. And coming into this World Championships, I mean, she's been trying to get stronger and stronger with each and every day. This is where they felt that she could contribute.
That combination, very tricky.
Next gymnast on the floor for Italy, Serena Higuita.
Oh, and that was a little bit of a, she kind of missed her toes on the bar, had to repeat the element.
Which makes the routine just a little bit longer.
Double layout dismount. Well, a solid set, but that little hiccup there, that's going to cost a couple of tenths.
Remember, this is a team world championship. 4 apparatus, as always. 3 gymnasts per team, and all 3 scores count.
So much pressure on these athletes. Every single routine, as you said, Al, counts. No mistakes. Anything can happen. It can change the entire makeup of the competition with one mistake.
Yeah, really, with a full point off for a fall, it's devastating. Nice double laid out somersault, but doesn't stick that landing. That small hop forward, that is just 1/10 of a point.
Yeah, certainly not Bridget's best.
Team USA has already absorbed Mackenzie Kakwado's 14.6, so there's Bridget Sloan's 14.566 for an all-around total of 29 plus.
And in gymnastics, the way they got it set up is you are always pushing the envelope. You're supposed to build one after another. Each score should be higher. And this one will be.
She was just slightly under 15 in the first day of the team competition. But what makes Rebecca so special on this event, and it wasn't always her best, is she attacks the event. She is certainly not afraid of putting in a very difficult routine.
She is serious with a capital S.
Coach Valeria Lukin says that she is all work.
Well, she never stops. You ask her after every competition, there's always something to work on in her mind. Look at that release. And the second one is better.
And they're all done in combination, which gives her more points. Nothing is wasted in this exercise. Everything like that skill connected into a beautiful pack salto to the low bar.
It's just big gymnastics. Very exciting. Looking for a stick here. She has stuck them all week long.
Oh, she's going to get an earful. That was a fabulous routine, but that dismount is so easy for her.
is always one of the highlights. We always gripe about giving away those easy tenths on landings, and she's one athlete that really takes it very seriously. You rarely see her miss.
What she does so well, see that? She does this turn, it's called a pirouette, and she lands directly in the handstand. And a lot of gymnasts, you just don't see that, and they can incur 3, even 5/10 of a point for finishing after the handstand position.
Do you think Valerie Lukin, her coach, believes she could have fought through that step on the landing?
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's sometimes you're trying to stick so hard that you know, you're sticking before you're landing. You gotta land and then stick.
And she'll be the first one to bring it up with him. She'll be angry.
And now, a few moments ago, Nabieva of Russia, Tayana Nabieva, only 15.
And this is not pretty. You know, there's a lot of form going on, but it is that 6.5 difficulty rating. You see the bent knees, a little bit of bent hips.
But the other side of that scoring is the 10.0, and the maximum she could score on there is a 16.5.
So the Americans stumbling a little bit on uneven bars. Rebecca Bross gets only a 14.833. The Russians having their way on the vault as we continue at the 2010 World Gymnastics Championships.
Thank you, Coco.
Second half of rotation 1 in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. And it's our first look at what China and Romania has to offer. We've seen what the United States and the Russians have been up to. And we'll start things off with Jiang Yuyuan.
And she actually was a member of that gold medal winning team in Beijing.
And she lit up that arena, didn't she, Tim?
Yeah, she really did.
That smile was infectious. She was one of the favorites.
So remember, we saw those Russians that had that maximum score of 16.5. This vault right here has a maximum score of 15.8. Very nice.
It's amazing what the Chinese did. They set everything up so that as a country they could peak athletically for Beijing. And in women's gymnastics, they did all of that.
Yeah, it was remarkable how dominant they were, not just on the women's side, but even more so on the men's side. But beautiful form on this. A lot of times you see them coming off the table right here, and it gets a little bit sloppy, but very nice. And she lands with her chest in a good position. You don't want to be too bent over. If you do, that brings more deductions.
And of course, this is one of the vaults that we'll see so many of in this competition. What will set them apart is the height, the distance away from the vault, the cleanliness in the air, and a
Elfie,
stick.
vault camp.
Yeah. Go higher, be bigger, and stick the landing.
She is going to incur 1/10 of a point deduction because of where she landed. You see there's all those lines on the mat that you got to stay inside, right on that center line.
A little chilly in
Yeah, I was going to say.
the Ahoy Arena. She gets a 14.9. And the Chinese now begin to compile their total to keep up with what the United States and the Russians have already done. And now this is Huang Huishuang.
A bright new face, really beautiful gymnastics.
Has never been to a world championship before.
And great height. But she had the hop, and she landed, I believe, all the way to the left of that center line. And it's where you land, it's not where you step. So if you land with your feet on either side of the line, you're fine. And yes, that is 1/10 of a point deduction. If she were to the farther line, she would have incurred even more.
I was going to say that had the great potential with the height
But it
of
was
being a really great vault, but the form was off.
a little sloppy, yeah.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? The hours and days and months and years of preparation, and
Then you get one.
it goes by in 4 seconds.
Yeah,
One vault. Seems so cruel.
yeah. Well, remember Anya Hatch? her Olympic Games.
Yep.
One vault.
One vault.
For the United States. Waiting to score. Meanwhile, on the uneven bars, the Romanians get set. Starting things off for them is going to be Anna Porgras. Now, a lot like Russian gymnastics, the Romanians have gone back to the coaches that made them a power, haven't they?
It's unbelievable. Octavian Bellew and Mariana Bitang have come out of retirement and are now the two head coaches. They are not on the floor here. Bellew is in the arena somewhere. But already we're seeing their influence. Their biggest criticism of the last regime is, they said when we got to the training camp, everybody was in a cast. So, and he says they are finally healthy at this point, and now the preparation can begin.
Well, and Bellew told his athletes to simply just compete with themselves at this competition. This is the starting point to 2012.
And Anna, she is really their future. She's a tremendous talent. And where she's so good on the uneven bars is where Romania is really so bad. They have struggled historically on the uneven bars, and she actually competes with the best of the world on this event.
Of course, we got to watch her last year at the World Championships, where we immediately said, wow, okay, they've got a great athlete here in Anna. She is definitely special, has some great qualities of being great.
Tim, in this coverage, they are very fixated on what goes on with the hands on the high bar. What should viewers be looking for?
Well, really, not a lot. I mean, on a release skill, yes, it's critical. The Romanians are unique in that they don't wear grips. A lot of the other countries, most of the other countries, are wearing these big grips, and they've got these, you know, large pieces of leather. They just wear like a gauze on their hands, so it's not as critical for them.
It's shocking, isn't it? Piece of gauze.
14.466. That gets a smile from her. Representing Romania at the Olympics in Beijing is our next competitor, Gabriela Dragoi.
And really, I think they are kind of trying to bury this score. I mean, I think she's the second best gymnast, but Porras is certainly superior on this event.
Gabriela only scored in the low 13s. Now, we've said in the past with the new scoring system, a 15 is considered a great score, and that's certainly the type of score that you would want to see at a World Championship.
Big leg separation right there. What the Romanians have been criticized about on uneven bars is they don't have the flight on the release elements. Their pirouettes aren't landing in handstands. But this actually, beyond that leg separation, was a pretty darn good routine.
They are fighters.
Sandra, hi.
There's a shot of Sandra Izbasha, the Olympic champion on floor exercise. She is back.
Tim and Elfie, I love how in the public address they thank the gymnast after the routine is done.
Sometimes in a different language, too, in the country language.
Yeah, you see what I was talking about there, Al. They're not grips. They're like, I don't know why they do it.
You know, I thought Bellew said something very interesting about his team coming into these World Championships, how he really only had a very short time to prepare this team. They were third at this year's European Championships. That was behind Russia and Great Britain, which was shocking. And he said he just wants these girls to leave Rotterdam feeling satisfied with what they did.
And healthy. He said I want them to leave healthy. He said this is not about 2010 because there just was not enough time. We are looking towards 2012. And believe me, the Romanians will be ready.
A low 14.066 for Gabriela Dragoi of Romania. And you may not know what exactly is on their hands and wrists, but it's not high tech.
No, it is not. I like it, but...
Now back to the Chinese, Yang Yilin.
She also was one of one of 4 of the athletes on the team now, or part of that Beijing team. Nice job, and she has really done much better this year. She had a brutal year last year. It just, you know, she's grown and things have gotten so much more difficult for her.
But her day is done.
Yeah.
This was the only event they were planning to use her on.
Well, that's going to bring us to the end of the first rotation. Yang Yilin, a 14.9. We'll tally up the scores and see who stands where at the World Championships.
You might not realize how
Team final. We're 1/4 of the way through, and here's where they stand. Russia is in first with a fairly significant lead over China, and then about 6/10 over the United States, and then there's a real separation between the U.S. and Romania. First gymnast for Romania in the second rotation is Sandra Izbasa.
And you know, she had that great Olympic Games, winning the gold on floor, but 2009 was not pretty for her. She tore her Achilles tendon and was out for about a year. A lot of people thought she wouldn't come back.
Hey, if only you saw her shadow, you would think you were looking at the shadow of Nastia Liukin.
Yeah, it's true.
She's quite blonde at this competition.
What do you mean by that, Elfie?
Sandra said that this competition represents everything about the team, and she has no desire to do anything as an individual, but interestingly, she has qualified in 3rd behind 2 Russians on balance beam.
I think I read somewhere she said that I won't win a medal here.
It's not a good way to start.
Yeah. But I tell you, that injury at her age and her body style, she has done a fabulous job to be in the condition that she is.
Tim, she just returned in September of this year at a World Cup event. Here she is at Worlds, but this is experience. This is what the Romanians were looking for.
Landing a triple full. And that, wow, that was very, very questionable, that dismount. Trying to do a triple twist, and if you do not complete the twist, what they do is they take it away and they devalue it to a 2.5, which isn't, you know, tragic, but I would say that she's gonna lose this dismount. Let's see where she lands, and she is definitely not all the way around.
You know, Tim and Elfie, I think it's good to remind everybody once in a while that all the judges do is take away. They don't add anything. There's a start value of all the skills that are given a point. That's the highest score you could possibly get, and then they chip away at that.
Yeah, they do. That's the pen to paper, you know, and it's just chipping away, like you said. But a very good routine. Very good routine.
She's a very elegant gymnast, isn't
yes,
she?
Very.
14.333. Now the Chinese women are on the uneven bars. They can be spectacular. Wang Shuang.
They have been
Yeah.
extremely spectacular. This is where they can just, you know,
Distance themselves.
yeah, in a big way.
Yeah. Like Russia did on vault. They can do on bars, but even more. Lots of intricate pirouetting skills you'll see over and over. Oh, a little funky there.
Sometimes you think that it's just all about the high bar. They do have to, at some point, make their way down to the low bar.
And a release right here. Nicely done. Some of those handstands, though, were not great.
Oh.
Oh.
But I think
Wow.
she smacked her heels on the ground. It's
That-
hard to tell.
Wow. Big deduction. Well, it's not supposed to go like that with
No.
China on bars.
You know, they worried about this young lady, thinking that she had so little international experience and that inconsistency was one of the things that would plague her. But, oh, A lot of gymnastics in there.
A little opening for Russia to increase their lead. A little opening for the United States to maybe catch China.
You can't really see
but just
from that shot.
Yeah, muscling up that kip there, you have to think that she hit her feet. Really changed the whole momentum for her.
Kind of a shocking error, to be honest. It didn't happen. It happened because of the transition from the high to the low. It's called a pack salto. But there was no problem with this.
Now, if we couldn't tell on the replay, what do the judges do to tell if her foot touched the floor?
Well, they have a different view than we do. They actually have video review, and that is what Nellie Kim, who is the president of the technical committee, it looks like she's doing. Every routine is videotaped on the floor.
It's one of those long waits for the score as we go back to the Romanians on the beam and a progress.
And whereas the Romanians are historically not great on bars, they are, without question, the most rock-solid balance beam workers. Watch this, beautiful.
And she has such a beautiful elegance about her in this routine. This is an athlete that just really seems to balance the artistry and the acrobatic skills so well.
That was close.
Yeah.
Well, all these girls for so many years know this is where Nadia did her thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yep.
And you can hear her teammates on
Yep.
the floor just yapping away. But she hears that every day because they all train together.
A lot of coaching going on out there.
Sure is. Yeah. Well, you know, she did have that one wobble. Look at this, though. Beautiful punch into a double pike. Step backwards. But a very, very solid routine.
She got so much height on the dismount. 15.066.
It's a good score.
That's a big number.
And we do the, well, they were sort of nice to her, 14.75.
Yeah, initially the score came in at 14-3. And
meanwhile, Heka Sheen is underway on the uneven bars, her teammate.
reigning Olympic champion. Watch
Yikes.
that. Now.
Everybody shakes their head just a little after that combination.
To do another big release in combination. A little bit shy on that last handstand. Got to land dead in that handstand position or you incur deductions. Everybody's vocal today.
Yep. It's amazing how strong she's remained since Beijing on this event.
Remember how loud the arena was that day?
Oh, golly. Yeah, that was a big routine. By far the highest start value and going to really help China's efforts here.
She scored a 16.066 in the first day of competition.
It'll be right around there. Beautiful pirouetting skill, landing exactly in the handstand position. Very nice work. The only criticism, watch this now, she changes her hands, turns her body around in the air, and does 2 releases in a row. That is her signature, and really, that's what won her a gold medal.
And she nails it and gets even better than she did in qualifying. 16.133. Back to the Russians and Americans after this.
Life should be.
Getting set to watch Anna Dementieva of Russia at the World Championships in Rotterdam. She's only 15. Head's got to be spinning a little bit.
A little bit, but what she's got going for her head coach, Alexander Alexandrov, says that she is a workaholic. He says he wishes he had more gymnasts just like her.
Well, that's what it takes.
Yeah.
She actually was not slated to compete in the team finals. Afanaseva was.
Oh. And that wasn't supposed to happen either.
Wow.
Well, that could change the standings.
A lot. A lot. Like I was saying, she was not supposed to be this bar worker, but Afanaseva had a disastrous first day, and Alexandrov said, we have no idea what we're going to do.
Well, and Anna only scored a 14.2 on the first day.
And Russia's been in a team drought. As a matter of fact, since they went from the Soviet Union to Russia, they have not won a team gold in the World Championships or the Olympics.
That's right.
In almost 20 years.
Yep.
Rookie mistake.
Well, I'll tell you, that is bad news. Certainly opens up the door for Team USA.
And now from the United States, Alicia Sacramone.
From the United States of America on the balance beam, Alicia.
Why is she here, Elfie? Why is she still in this sport?
She wants a gold medal. She wants a gold medal at the Olympic Games. She is not satisfied from what happened in Beijing. A lot of people pointed fingers at Alicia.
Why?
Well, it was on this event in Beijing.
On that mount.
On that mount, she fell and felt like she let the team down. I mean, it was the 3-up, 3-count rule.
And then on the final event, she fell again on floor exercise. And
it was not a great day.
It's all, and she says it over and over again. She says it's about redemption.
And if she hits those two, they win the gold?
You know what? They wouldn't have won the gold, but
it doesn't matter.
What you don't know, though, is, the mindset of the Chinese at that point in time would have been very different, because it would have been, a lot of pressure as opposed to just make it through.
Oh!
Wow.
And she is not falling again.
How did she not fall
I don't know.
Oh. Just the dismount. Does this great. Wow.
How did she do that?
Yeah, that's, I can't believe. I can't believe she was able to stay on the beam, getting some talking to from her coach, Mihai Bristjan. It is a very small apparatus to find your feet over and over again on.
Two of them side by side, like right here.
So that leg, it's amazing. It's amazing she didn't come off the beam. It's still going to be, a pretty good deduction. But certainly a veteran type person to pull that off, to not come off.
An odd thing to press your lips up against the balance beam.
Yeah.
But this was wonderful. Big highlight of the routine. However, the step back, again, you're looking for room to improve. It's right here.
Not happy, obviously. There'll be other chances in this World Championships.
Come on, Bags. Let's go, Bags. Come on, Bags.
She has actually qualified to the vaulting finals, where I think she could win.
Mostafina.
So let's look at those angles. That one excellent. Beautiful transition. All the combinations so great. Right into that Stalder.
16 years old, first World Championships. Oh.
And that's hers, by the way. They submitted that skill to be evaluated. It's been done on the men's side, but never seen it on the women's.
Team USA has to absorb a 14.6 from Alicia Sacramone. You know, you watch Mostafina, you don't need to know the name of any of the moves. You know good is good when it's good.
That's for sure.
And now Rebecca Bross of the United States in Plano, Texas. Mostafina gets a 15.6. The Russians needed that.
And this could be a huge score for Rebecca as well. She is very focused on balance beam and has the skills to back it up right here.
This one right here, yeah. An Arabian. Oh.
Very uncharacteristic.
Wow.
Very.
Boy, I don't know how many steps she took there, but that
looked like 3 tiny ones.
Remember, she is a little bit beat up. She hasn't done anywhere near the numbers that she typically does because of a shin that has been bothering her.
And that must be hard for her because she is an athlete that loves doing numbers in the gym. That's what defines her. She does it over and over again until it's perfect.
Very hard dismount. At times has struggled. Great today.
That time Mihai had very little to say.
Yeah. Well, it's just not his gymnast, you know. It's,
Now, moments ago, this happened on the uneven bars to Nabieva of Russia.
Unbelievable. One of the coolest skills being done in gymnastics right now. But it doesn't matter how cool it is. You come off the bar, and it's bad.
We are halfway through the World Championships team final.
It says
there's been a power shift in the women's team final. 2 Russia falls have knocked them down to 3rd. China's in the lead, and the United States moves up into the silver medal position. And now on the floor,
That's a problem. She was supposed to connect that into another salto. It's a requirement.
So one glaring mistake, one much more subtle but equally damaging.
Oh, unbelievable. That one that happened prior, she needs to do 2 saltos connected, and she doesn't have a requirement. That'll cost her 0.5 of a point, and then that landing right there, that's a point off, 1.5. That is devastating. Devastating. Wow.
And Tim, Marta Caroli has to be watching, saying only one thing to herself: that can't happen in an Olympics.
Without question.
Yeah, she'll do everything in her power to not allow something like that to happen at an Olympic Games. You could see it in Maddie's face. As soon as she landed, she was shocked. You could see her eyes shift over to the coaching staff.
This is going to be a very, very low number. And you know, she's the national champion on floor exercise.
Yeah, we said at Nationals that this is a routine, and this type of athlete with her style, it would play very well on the stage, and it just has not unfolded that way for Maddie.
Wow.
Now, while that was happening on floor, this was happening on beam for Ksenia Semenova of Russia. They've got to gain some ground back.
Ksenia is actually a world champion herself on the uneven bars.
Didn't even compete for Russia today on uneven bars. In fact, this is her only event.
Well, I cannot believe the mistakes that have been going on in this World Championships. It's amazing.
Larson's music start up in the background. It's a weird time warp. It's almost as if she's getting another chance. She probably wishes she could have another one.
Just the way she's moving on this apparatus, Tim, it's so uninspiring. Like, it's just, there's not a lot of passion in this routine.
But she got through without a fall, and today, that means a lot. Jeez.
She's going to have her 18th birthday on the road there in Rotterdam.
All of those little wobbles here and there certainly add up at this level of competition, as do the steps on the landings.
Semenova, 14.3. Russia sliding behind the United States. And now Aliyah Mustafina.
And she is their rock. She has qualified first into the all-around and also qualified on all 4 individual apparatus events.
Beautiful double turn to start things off. And you know, Tim, she's very smart, because people were congratulating Russia after the first day of competition, and she said, hold on.
Great Arabian there.
She said, we haven't won anything yet.
Yeah, she was actually kind of critical of
her teammates.
Of her teammates, saying there were some mistakes. I'm not going to name names, but
she said, I didn't do anything wrong.
No, she hasn't. So far, she hasn't at all.
So she has a little Svetlana Horkina in her.
She does,
a lot.
She'd love to wind up like Horkina did in 03 with a World Championship gold medal in the all-around.
You know, you just can't teach this type of mindset to an athlete of her caliber. I mean, Alexander Alexandrov has done wonders with this team, but I tell you what, she has the right stuff to make it happen. She is tough.
Now, big Rebecca Ross fans might have heard her music start in the background. We'll be showing you her floor routine.
Triple twist, you see a little bit leg separation.
guys, they have given Maddie Larson a 12.5. Mustafina gets a 15.033. We'll show you Rebecca Bross on the floor after this.
Is the IRS rule.
But we're inside at the 2010 Gymnastics World Championships watching the women's team final. And Rebecca Bross of the United States on the floor.
And this is the apparatus that really is pounding on that injured shin. Left an element out in qualifying. We'll see if she does it today.
Thank you, Rebecca.
You're welcome.
Hey, Elfie, there's a good chance she'll be performing, if she does go to the Olympics, with this music. It makes me think that you better pick the right song. You're going to hear it about 10,000 times.
Oh, yeah. Well, more importantly, the right type of music that reflects the personality and something that she's really able to express herself in. You know, Rebecca doesn't pour on the smiles in any of her gymnastics, only if it's a successful routine.
And this, I believe, her last tumbling run, and that pass right there is what kind of lost her the world all-around title last year, and that she did not do in the qualifying. She left out that last acrobatic element. She added it in today. Looked great.
14.633. The United States trying to hold off the Russians. And now our first look at Alexandra Raceman of the United States.
She, of course, is a teammate of Alicia Sacramone. Has a lot of the same qualities that Alicia does. Very powerful. So she excels on floor exercise and on vaulting.
And she's been on for this U.S. team. She has been very focused here at the World Championships, has hit like a veteran.
She's completely unfazed. That's what I get from her. It's nothing rattles her. She's calm, and you know, I tell you what, that I don't know if you can teach that. I don't believe you can teach it to the level that someone like her achieves. She just can deal with it and be great at the big moment.
Well, she did say that working alongside with Alicia Sacramone, that Alicia's always told her, just don't freak out whatever you do.
Getting dizzy.
Thank you, Alexander.
Wow. Another rock-solid performance from Raceman, I tell you. It's amazing.
Doing a job.
Elfie, do you constantly play the game when you watch this to try and guess if you're watching someone who'll be at the Olympics?
We do. I do. And I'm thinking that this young lady has done herself a lot of favors here at the World Championships. Marta likes athletes who can compete.
She qualified right behind Rebecca Bross in the all-around in the 3rd spot.
It's all about handling the pressure.
Our coverage of the World Championships here on Universal Sports is very complete. This is the team final. We've got the all-around and event finals as well. Russia and the United States first to the end of the 3rd rotation. China and Romania soon to be there. The World Championships continue in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. Anna Pargras of Romania on the floor. China will be on the beam.
And this will be a treat. You'll feel like you're at a ballet watching this performance.
Thank you, Anna.
Well, Romania is doing a nice job today, but I think they're going to really be struggling to figure into the medals. But about 25 years ago, 1987, in this very same arena, they defeated the Soviet Union and had the all-around champion. Looking for a little of that maybe luck to shine upon them, but
Anna can take them places, and this is an athlete who has all the artistry. She was beautiful on floor, just need to work on the difficulty. It's coming.
14.133. Alexandra Raceman got a solid 14.5 on the floor, and now the China story unfolds on the beam. Deng Ling Lin.
This could be awesome. She's a world champion. She was on the Olympic team, so she's got the 2 big ones, world champ, Olympic champ, and she is fabulous on balance beams.
She packs a lot in this routine, doesn't she, Tim?
Yes.
I don't know how she gets it in there, but skill after skill, done with such great poise.
Next gymnast for China on the balance beam, Deng Ling.
She scored a 15.1 in the qualification competition. Easy mount, but watch out.
Yeah. She tumbles on the beam like nobody's business. Watch this.
She doesn't even use the whole length of the beam either. Yeah, it's skills like that, the full turn, right up on her toes, holding the element.
definite.
It's like she's done this routine a few times.
Dismount. Wow.
Elfie, you actually said easy mount.
Yeah, she just stepped up on the beam.
Is there such a thing, though?
There is.
Yeah.
You know what? There are athletes out there that will take some risk, but she figures she has enough risk in the routine.
She's got plenty.
She doesn't need to worry about the mount. Just get up on the balance beam and get the job started.
Beautiful dismount. She was actually one of the two. Kashin, the other one with a 14.7 there, a good number. One of the two that people were talking about being underaged at the Beijing Olympic Games.
Diana Chalaro of Romania.
Thank you, Diana. There's a lot of tumbling in this exercise. Very powerful.
But not a lot of...
No, not a lot of artistry,
Yeah.
and that's what's lacking. It's got to be that balance. You know, she picked catchy music. You got to hand it to her. The audience loves that sort of thing. The important thing, she hit. She's going to feel successful. That's exactly what Bellew wants this team to feel.
Without a doubt, but the artistic component is much more important at this point in time, and she will definitely not do well in that area.
Sui Lu of China, they're trying to hold on to their first place position. Chalaro got a 14.733.
Another fall. Wow.
She's their national champion, by the way. Great skill.
I've already said it, but I tell you that they just keep falling, and it is so unusual to have this many falls at this level of competition. I'll tell you, it is a long beam routine when you fall off right at the beginning. It's like, just get me off this thing.
rest has been okay. There was a misconnection shortly after that fall, but you know, national champion or not, this doesn't help.
Yeah.
China's going to lose a big chunk of their lead. Question is, do they lose the lead altogether? But Tim, you used to have a phrase, China syndrome. They got rid of that for their own Olympics, but
yeah, it might just eke its way back into the vocabulary. Because they did not have it at all in Beijing, I'll tell you. Grabs the beam. And the interesting question is, do they call that almost two falls? Because she grabs the beam, which is a 5/10 deduction.
That would be
and then jumps
so
off,
harsh,
which is a
wouldn't
point. Yeah, I don't think they do, but.
Su Lu gets a 13.0. We'll do the math as we head to the final rotation for gold, silver, and bronze. The best female gymnasts in the world move to the fourth rotation in the women's team final. China in front. Russia has moved in front of the United States. And right now, the United States is in third. We pick it up on the floor exercise. Huang Kusheng.
And remember, she had that error on the uneven bars. Oh, she is out of bounds. That'll be an extra 1/10 of a point.
Thank you, Joe.
Well, the coaching staff says that she's probably the most talented all-arounder that they have on this team. But, you know, she really captivated me in the exercise. The choreography was great. I love the way she moves, but there are definite mistakes in the landings right out of those tumbling passes.
Yeah, I would say it was just barely good. This was nice, but you see that step forward? That's either a 1 or a 3/10 plus the 1/10 out of bounds. This is not going to get a big number.
And it does not. 14 even. Now our first look at Raluca Haidu, 15 years old.
And you see that D number right there, 5.8. That indicates the value of this vault. If she does it perfectly, out of a 10.0, the maximum is 15.8.
And not bad, actually. Not bad.
You sound surprised.
Well, she's very little, you know, and it's hard to generate enough power on the board to get the spring that you need to do this vault. And remember, where you land is how it's evaluated, and I believe she will get no deduction. She's right in the middle there.
She was 14.633 in the first day.
And on the balance beam for Japan, Rie Tanaka.
Now this is Su Lu.
Bronze medalist at the 2009 World Championships on this event.
And she wears socks.
That's going to be the final gymnast for China in this competition. And looking at the numbers, Haidu got a 14.866. I don't think it's going to be enough.
Very nice tumbling run in combination, but really this Chinese team on floor, I just don't think they got the job done. You got the Americans coming up on vault, and they're good on vault, and Russia as well.
Sui gets a 14.733. They'll finish in front of Romania and guarantee themselves a medal. We'll find out what color when we come back.
The team final is about one thing.
Competing for each other is so much greater than anything you can do as an individual.
The U.S. men have gold within their reach, but powerhouses China and Japan stand in their way. The World Gymnastics Championships men's team final tomorrow on Universal Sports. Also watch it live at universalsports.com.
Is the IRS ruining your life? Are IRS penalties and interest compounding daily? Stop the cycle now.
Hello, I'm John Harris, president of J.K. Harris & Company, the nation's largest tax representation firm. IRS problems have a way of ruining every aspect of your life if you let them. They don't go away on their own. The IRS can attach your wages, your pension, your savings, even your Social Security check. If penalties and interest have made your IRS problem go from bad to worse, don't despair. Call us now. Over the past decade, the tax team at J.K. Harris has successfully negotiated settlements for our clients, saving them millions of dollars.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, don't wait another minute. Call J.K. Harris now.
Meet with a J.K. Harris consultant today and see if you too can qualify to significantly reduce your tax debt.
Time for the final statements by the Americans and the Russians. Mackenzie Kakwado on the vault.
Mackenzie also competed for the U.S. She was first up on uneven bars, did her job there at the start of this competition, and she ends her day as the leadoff for this event.
Powerful vaulter. Going to do that Yurchenko double twist. And a nice job. Pretty dead center on the landing.
Tim, she was just shy of 15 in the first day of competition.
And we'll await that score. Anna Dementieva of Russia set to go on the floor. She's the workhorse, right?
Yes, she is, yeah. Her coach actually said he wished he had more gymnasts. There aren't many like her in Russia now.
First-year senior, first World Championships. What I liked about her, she always had a smile on her face. It didn't matter what happened in the routine.
Yeah, that was a solid one for Russia.
The United States trying to sneak past Russia here. I don't mean sneak past. It's obvious what they're doing. Alexander Raceman on the vault. Kakwado got a 15.
That was great.
Yeah, great vault.
Great vault. Very clean.
Powerful.
Small little hop.
And Tieva, 14.533. That could be a little vulnerable. The United States on vault.
Yeah, it could be, but also relative to China, it's tracking higher than the Chinese.
Raceman's score of 15.066. Here's Alicia Sacramone.
And this can be one of the highest scores of the day.
Alicia scored 15.466 in the first day.
Next gymnast for Italy on the beam, Lia Paradali.
She's always been known for her power, but few would have thought that she would come back and be even better on vaulting than she used to be, and she is. She does a very different vault from what we've been seeing. She'll attack the horse straight on, a handspring style vault. Fantastic. Big step on the landing, but fantastic.
Did she hurt something, Tim?
She grabbed her elbow right away, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
Look at the power. Wow. Just sends that way up there.
She really does.
Next gymnast for Russia on the floor,
Ksenia Afanaseva.
And she was basically written off by a lot of people, but has had a resurgence.
And this is her only event that she's contributing on.
So, Elfie, what kind of a score do you think that's going to get?
Probably close to 15.
All right, if that happens, that means Russia could be in a position to win the first ever world or Olympic team gold medal competing as Russia. Sacramone, huge, 15.6. She's got an ice bag on that right elbow. And there's still a lot of gymnastics to come in this World Championships.
Yes, there is. Well, for Alicia, well, definitely vault. She may actually be on balance beam as well.
And the score is near 15, but slightly less, 14.8.
But a good score, a very good score.
And the United States just waiting. They want to know, what kind of medal are we going to win? It comes down to this. Mustafina needs a 14.466 or better to win Russia's first ever team gold.
And that should be no problem.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Just a step out of bounds there, though, Al. But I'd be shocked if that doesn't get the job done.
So you think the diva did it?
I think she did it.
She is beautiful.
And there he is, Alexander Alexandrov. Many years in the United States coaching. Was called back home. Accepted the job, and I'll tell you,
he's done a great job with this team.
I think history is happening right here for Russia.
The Soviet Union was one thing. They were as dominant as any team in any sport can be, but Russia found the going different. Last time this event was held, the United States celebrated a gold medal. You can see the anticipation on their faces. No sure thing until the numbers are up.
No, that's true, but...
And that is a close bond right there.
It's gold for Russia. And she just made it. 2/10. That's a couple of those little bobbles you and Elfie talk about all the time. And China is going to win the bronze. So it's Russia, the United States for silver, and China finishes in third. Romania on the outside of that, looking in. That's the team final at the World Championships.
And the bronze medals are presented by Peter Matthijssen.
Time now for the medal
Dutch
ceremony
Organizing Committee.
at the World Championships in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. So guys, big picture moving forward to the World Championships in Tokyo and of course the Olympics the year after that. What happened here?
Well, what happened here was a missed opportunity, certainly, because they were 0.2 of a point, and the USA had a number of opportunities where they could have made that up easily. No question about it.
Well, in the resurrection of this Russian team, I mean, look what they accomplished here at these championships. Not afraid to compete with China, USA, they're back. You could see the passion in these young women.
And the magic and the power of the coach as Russia turns back the clock, brings back Alexander Alexandrov, and look at the result. And meanwhile, all the time, Tim and Elfie talk about that little extra step, two of those, or three if you want to put them into the gold medal position, is the difference here.
And one other thing for Russia, Al, you know, you have to be a senior, you have to be a certain age to compete. Russia has at home who I think is probably the best gymnast in the world. And she'll be eligible for the Olympic Games.
What about China's perspective on this?
You know, they really didn't look great all day long today. They didn't look great. They didn't have the same passion and like never say die attitude.
Well, and quickly for the United States, they have a few juniors back home as well that will factor in next year at the World Championships.
We'll hear from some of the Americans next here on Universal Sports.
Tomorrow.
2010 World Gymnastics Championships are brought to you by...
Well, this was the team final, but a team is made up of individuals, and it's going to be interesting to see what Maddie Larson has to say after what went wrong on the floor. She talked to John McCready in Rotterdam.
I really think I just rushed it, and I know my coaches and everyone on the team was just telling me to breathe and wait before my tumbling pass, but I think I was just a little too hasty and maybe too excited to be here, and I just rushed it in. Yeah.
You're a young competitor. It's your first World Championships. The bottom line is you have a silver medal around your neck. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
But the United States could have picked up 0.2 of a point that separated them from the gold medal in many different parts of this competition. Alicia Sacramone is the veteran. She's been there before.
Going to beam, you were up second for the team, had a great routine going, had a little bobble, small step on the dismount. What did you feel about your beam performance, and what was your mindset going into beam?
Going into beam, I was definitely just thinking about the little corrections that Mihai had given me in morning workout today, and it was just to be confident and consistent. And beam routine could have been a little bit better. I'm not fully pleased with it, but I stayed on, so that's like a huge feat in itself. So we were happy with that.
How bad did you want that beam routine? Because I know you and Beam in these big competitions kind of had a little fight, you know. So how much were you going in that routine going, I'm going to take you down?
Beam and I have a love-hate relationship, and it's more on the hate side lately. But I showed her who's boss today, and I was like, no, I'm not falling off. So it was nice to just go up there and hit a routine, especially after my last big competition was Beijing and it didn't, end so well.
Alicia Sacramone, still a character and still one of the leaders of Team USA. There is more glory to be had in these World Championships for the team that won the silver medal in the team final. A breakthrough gold. Russia's never had the feeling that these young women did. With Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, John McCready was on the scene. This is Al Troutwood. We'll see you again soon on Universal Sports.